Phumlani, you were talking with much passion and vigor about,
so were you.
About
Yes.
about the jobs that Free Market Foundation claims will be lost on a grand
Treasury
scale.
also does claim that.
Unfortunately, as I said, Treasury does a lot of thumb sucking, but that's a conversation.
Especially when they don't agree with your union.
It's not really about whether you agree with our union or not,
that,
Phumlani. The evidence is there for itself. It speaks for itself. And beyond that, we are a country that is in a unique situation. And I think whether you like it or not, you must accept
How
that.
unique?
Unique in the sense that the capitalist system that we have adopted here is based on racism. As a result, not just of colonialism, but of apartheid. And 24 years after that system has supposedly been defeated, you still have a situation where the far majority of people are living in abject poverty, where the far majority of people are denied an ability to participate meaningfully in the economy. And how are they able to do that when they're paid low wages?
I agree with that.
And worse, when business is allowed to arbitrarily, which by the way has been happening for the last 24 years.
And at worst, if you spend 10 billion rand into SAA, right, instead of doing something for poor people, right, you spend 10 billion rand into bailing SAA. You spend billions in guarantees for state-owned enterprises, right? Instead of channeling that money somehow to the poor. And then you end up voting for Jacob Zuma twice, right? And the money goes to Nkandla, right? You see, the biggest mistake we make as citizens, and I think you also have that fallacy as well, is that we tend to so much blame as to what happens with the capitalist system, what happens that we don't look at what is government doing, where is government failing, right? The rate of corruption is staggering in South Africa. The rate of misuse of taxpayers' money is staggering, right? We cannot run away from that.
Okay, Phumlani,
government is very much central to problems we face.
All right, we'll get back to that issue on bailouts. We've got a caller on the line. Time for your calls. We have Lucas from Boksburg on the line. Hi, Lucas. What is your question or your comment?
Good afternoon. Good evening. The comment more is on shouldn't we be focusing rather on looking at measures to lower the costs of living rather than focusing on minimum wage? Escalating electricity costs of food and so forth. Then with minimum or livable costs of living, the minimum wage becomes immaterial in essence. Examples are Indonesia and many of the Asian countries that have adopted more or less a cost of living rather than a minimum wage approach. Thank you.
That's a very interesting comment. Thank you so much for your comment, Lucas. Lucas talking about how the factors of a cost of living should also be looked into when debating this issue of a living wage. And in fact, for us as NUMSA, that has been the basis of our debate, is the fact that beyond the fact that we have to do and deal decisively with the fact that our economy is based on a racist system, which is premised on the fact that African workers in particular must be exploited and must earn less in order for capital to make profits. The crisis we're dealing with at the same time in South Africa is the fact that our government has basically implemented austerity measures and all of these things through the increases of VAT, the increase of the fuel price, have increase the cost of living. So of course, a 20 rand per hour 20 rand per hour national minimum wage becomes woefully inadequate.
Okay, can I tell you how we should address
context.
that? Let me tell you how we should address that. How about you stop raising taxes like levies? And they say that about 40% of the petrol price is taxes, right? How about we stop pushing up taxes higher and higher so that we cut the cost of living? I mean, why can't we use that approach instead of trying to put in a legislation where many people will be denied to have an opportunity to find employment, right? Especially young people who will struggle. They don't have skills. They are still looking to make a starting point in life, and then you deny them an opportunity through the national minimum wage. How about instead you stop? Government gets out of running airlines, right? Governments cut taxes instead of pushing them up because we are raising the cost of living. You know, instead of voting for people who will turn our financial ministries into, I don't know, a playing ground and so on for political reasons, and therefore somehow affecting our currency and so on, weakening it, and we import a lot of stuff into South Africa, including oil and so on. All these things are pushing up inflation, right? Government must stop putting policies that would raise the cost of living. And one of the ways to do that is to stop raising taxes. Taxes are a problem. They always depress the economy. They always have a negative impact.
No, that's not the case, especially when you look at, no. When you, some of the most, look, and as we wrap up, we really have to summarize our points. But the fact of the matter is this, it is a fact, and it's been proven in different countries all over the world. When you are dealing with the crisis of inequality, the government must intervene directly to tackle that issue directly.
Not by raising taxes.
I'm wrapping up, so I should be given my opportunity, and I will give you your opportunity, Phumlani. But the fact of the matter is that two things. The one issue is that we have to deal with the racist structure of our economy, which always relegates African labor to the position where they must be exploited. Your organization promotes this in the worst way. They don't want, yes, you don't want any fetters, you don't want any controls, you don't want any government regulation, because you believe in the woo that the economy will balance itself out somewhere along the line, and everybody will be equal at the end of the day. But that is the premise upon which you base your beliefs, and it's been fundamentally proven to be flawed. It's failed time and time and time again. Your economic model was not able to predict the crash of 2008, for example, and it's not able to predict the future really thereafter. It's a complete failure. Therefore, the only solution that we have is for us to involve ourselves directly in the economy in order to improve the lives of the African working class majority. We cannot do that with a poverty national minimum wage of 20 Rand per hour. We should be fighting for a living wage. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. Let's have it out tonight. Tomorrow night, Lumka Oliphant, spokesperson for Minister Bathabile Dlamini, will be in this seat. Don't miss that conversation. I'm Phakamile Hlubi Majola from NUMSA. Good night.